how it is expected that in 1/4 of the time duration we can test the entire application, and same one fourth of time also we have to deploy, which was actually unfair. So Agile came into little bit better approach. They have brought the testing along with the development, where things happened little bit faster. But the problem started when it really get released. We discussed the technical debt. They are becoming faster, but the operations team didn't. They are as is. They never knew about the application. They don't have any visibility. They don't have any clarification. But ultimately, when it comes, the burden of work is higher, and the number of releases are also higher. You can see here, as I said, in the sprint, 2 weeks of work has been created in Agile. So in 2 weeks they have developed, tested. So every 2 weeks, this ops team has to deploy the release, which conflicts their goal. And what was their goal? Their goal is to maintain the stability. Their goal is to maintain the productivity. So if multiple changes every 2 weeks, they have to do the change. How they can maintain the stability? There are possibility that the system may break whenever they are deploying. There are possibility. I'm not saying it's every time, but possibility of breaking the system when you are doing multiple changes frequently, right? So they hesitated to deploy so frequently. The result is the technical debt. So they are the releases are piled up, but the customer is not getting the output or the whatever being developed. So what is the benefit of the developing it so fast? That's the problem in Agile. And finally, DevOps clarifies that and brings the operations team to the same cycle. You developed whatever you develop, that's good. Focus on in the sprint development only. Then focus whatever been developed has to be tested, and whatever has been tested has to be deployed. So the cycle ends here. One cycle every time you do end to end. Develop, test, deploy, get feedback, and you jump to the next cycle. So this is the evolution from the past decades. It is almost, a waterfall lasted for almost 3 decades, 30 years. And Agile then, I think it's around 10 to 20 years. And right now, they've been DevOps in place almost in 10 years, where the industry is trying to move towards DevOps right now. Because DevOps has, proved the speed of delivery of your product, of the application, that the development team, the testing team, and the operation team struggled in the past to deliver it. So if we summarize everything, the DevOps benefits, what we are getting, these are the technical benefits: reliability or reliable software. So here, when we are talking about reliability, means the stability, right? So here from this word, the SRE also comes into picture, the site reliability engineering, who work closely with the dev team and make sure this process in place. Bringing a concept of site reliability engineering, where it is nothing but it's a pure implementation of DevOps. DevOps talks about the culture, site reliability works with the technology to ensure this is the process is in place. Reduce time to recover. So you can see, I also explained in this process, something fails, something bad happens, your effort is very less to get back to the working environment, because you have very less, whatever work you have done within less time frame and limited work. To getting back or correcting it is quite easy. The efficiency increased for all the teams. You can deliver your product faster. You lowered the risk by approaching this method. Dev cycle has been shortened and hence the stability also increased. These are the business values that we are going to get when we implement DevOps. Faster updates. The customer will get latest updates or new features fast. So new features means better user experience. The failures are low. The amount of failures that we supposed to have in the previous models has been drastically reduced. The quality has been increased because we are doing multiple rounds of testing. You can see here, testing everywhere. Every release you have a testing, where it was only one time testing. So when you are doing multiple times of testing of your product, definitely you will get a better quality product. The delivery faster. So everything, when you are speeding up, what will happen? At the end, you are saving some cost. Not some huge cost you are saving when you are coming to implementing the DevOps culture in your organization. So there are certain principles that DevOps is stand on upon. They are, the first principle says customer-centric action. From the discussion we've done, you can understand how customer focused the process is, right? So the only target is to release the product to the end user, not between among ourselves. Not the dev team will release to testing and testing will release to operations. No, it's not the game like that. This, when we are releasing something, if the end user is not able to use it, we will say it is not released, right? But previously it was everyone will release them, among themselves, and we are done with our work. They'll raise their hands. No, everyone has to work together to make sure the end user gets the product. Create with the end in mind. The product and services thinking, engineering mindset and collaboration. Right? That is, the collaboration is mostly important in this culture, in DevOps culture. End-to-end responsibility. So this responsibility comes, should be coming from you. Here, if you if anybody had worked for at least more than 5 to 6 years or 8 years, the previous model, it was a push model of work. So what do you mean by push model? Your manager is there. He will say, like I'm taking a name, someone's, like Himanshu, your task is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have to complete this task. He will call another person like Abid. You have assigned with this tasks. So that was push model. Means someone was there to assign you work, and you will be working only on the assignment or assigned work. But that concept has to be go, because you are limiting yourself with knowledge and with limited work. Here you are open to take your work. You have the independence of choosing your work. Means this model, in this DevOps model, we are calling it as a pull model instead of push model. Means be responsible yourself. You identify what you can deliver with the stipulated time. You decide how you want to work. You work it and deliver it. So self-responsibility, or the other word that I will use is accountability. Take yourself, your accountability in your hand, and ensure what work you take, you deliver that with the proper responsibility. The fourth pillar or the fourth principle is cross-functional and autonomous. Means here you can see it's a T-shaped profile. So if you visit our blog devopshub.in/blog, I have mentioned about how to build your career completely in the field of like ops to DevOps. That's the topic. So I have given a T-shaped skill. Means presently in general, what happened in the past, if someone is knowing development or some particular technology, they are good at that, right? They do not think about other side technologies or what other technologies can helpful for them. But in DevOps, you have to know how the development works, how the testing works, how the operations works. You have to be aware of all the three aspects. Not only that, you have to be aware of how the release management works, the entire release, how the release process works. So as we have seen, how the DevOps says about continuity, you should also put that in that shape. That means you need multiple skills to be a part of your DevOps team. So this horizontal line of the T is your broadness of your skills, whereas the vertical line says which area you are good at or expert at. So vertical line explains your expertise. So you can be expert in as a developer, you can expert as a tester, you can expert in a ops as well. But ultimately, you know all the possible, all the aspects of your product delivery process. Continuous improvements. So in continuous improvement, there are two aspects. One is from the product point of view, and the other is self point of view. Means, in past, if something fails, we talked about it as well. If something fails, how it was granted, how it was taken. Can you tell, Priya? If something fails, what is in your mind? If something fails, how do you feel? Or how it was taken by your manager or maybe someone else who is, elder than you. It's kind of a sin, right? Isn't it? If you are doing a mistake or if you are doing something wrong or if you are failing, it was a huge problem. What DevOps says is, in this software development life cycle or the approach DevOps gives you, it says accept failures. Means if something fails in this working environment, or while you are developing, while you are testing, or while you are deploying, if something fails, accept the failure and do not try, as we are now together, try to solve as soon as possible. That acceptance of failure doesn't mean only you accept and solve. No. Ensure the same problem should not happen next time. And this is also one fundamental principle of SRE. So how it can be? You can automate it to identify, either the testing persons can be automated, or if there is a problem in deployment team can also automate it. So whatever failure, accept it and make sure it doesn't happen next time. So that is what your continuous improvement is. Next time you may face another problem, which is fine, but we should not face the same problem more than once. That's the principle of DevOps and SRE as well. And that is, we are calling it as continuous improvement. Means you keep on improving. No, there is no feedback at all. And the next, as just I completed, like automate everything or whatever possible you automate it, so that your time will be reduced for additional works, and you will get enough time for improve yourself as well as innovate something that you can really do. By automating things, you are going to achieve the innovation within you, or you can identify something that which is really could be important. You may get time to reskill yourself or learn something else, right? So these are the 6 principles has been given by DASA, DevOps Association, DevOps and Agile Association, I guess. Okay, so DASA has been defined this 6 principles, which is appreciated by, taken by many organizations while implementing it. So whatever we we understood till now, presenting that in a continuity format, how this works. The version control is the place where your code gets integrated, the build gets done, the unit testing is done, performed, then deployment is being done, and automation, whatever testing the automation has been created for entire testing, the suite executes and ensures that your product is out of any bugs. And when it is done, testing completes, you can deploy it in this given environment. And mostly it's in this year production environment I have given, which is actually the target. Intermediately there could be other environment where you can deploy and test, or mainly this auto testing, this can be here also, the environments, testing environment, you deploy in the testing environment and complete the testing. So this is a overall picture of DevOps pipeline. Finally, your deployment is done in production. You have your customers who can validate and who can get back to you for future enhancements. So this is the entire picture what we discussed till now. Now let's get to a topic called how do you want to implement this kind of work, or how will you bring this DevOps into your organization. So if you see that there are 4 aspects that you can implement, that is DevOps technical, from DevOps process, DevOps measurement to ensure what you are doing is right, and DevOps culture means you educate people how this DevOps culture works, how we can work together, or how we can build a team of one end-to-end delivery instead of siloed teams. So you embrace the culture or create the mindset of DevOps within everyone's mind, so that the entire process will be successful. So we will see that majorly will technical aspects here. In technical aspects you get version control system has to be in place, the continuous integration has to be in place, deployment automation, trunk based code, this should be a part of version control itself, proper architecting of your product, and shifting left on security. With this shifting left on security, I also would like to say that this also brings a futuristic another approach or another culture altogether called as DevSecOps, where it is just a jargon, you can say, don't fall prey to it. DevOps, it encloses everything, just it didn't use security, so people came up with a new term. So DevSecOps, what they are taking, okay, security is from the beginning, but in DevOps in generally it says shifting left on security means think for security before of any other thing. So whatever possible security means, security testing, security, your infosec team, where infrastructure security, all of the things has to be ensured. While this version control, we are thinking of version control, continuous integration, deployment automation, trunk based code, or test automation, anything that you are including architecture. So include security as a part as well. And the first part is version control. What you do in version control, why we are going to use, understand here, this is the complete technical aspect, how you can implement, what are the tools that you can use in a DevOps culture or in the DevOps environment or a DevOps team to ensure the end-to-end delivery. So first part is version control. You make sure you implement a version control tool. So in case you have not heard, the Git is the majority of the world is using the tool Git, and based on Git there are other tools like GitHub, Bitbucket, GitLab. Okay, These are the different tools based on Git, which provides you a code repository. And why do we need a code repository? Using the code repository, whatever code that has been saved, or usually we store the code, whatever being developed by the development team. We can trace what are the changes being done, who did what. We can identify. In case your code somewhere in any application server, in a production server, due to some reason, due to some disaster, the servers or the application gone wrong, you still have the code in the repository. You can quickly get it and build it and deploy it. You get a auditability, means the code that you are developing, it's visible to everyone because it's stored in a repository. Anyone that want to see your code can access your code, and a better clarity will come. Or even in case anything that is not acceptable, any code that is not acceptable in the organization, which is, or you can say, which is not obeying a particular rule and regulation kind of, that can be removed from the beginning. The quality will be higher because everyone is storing code in one place, and there are possibility of reviewing the code by your peers, your managers, your team leads. Anyone who wants can review your code by giving, they can give you feedback then and there. So you ultimately create a better quality code. Capacity management. Based on your code, the operations team can identify what could be the requirement of your systems. What is the requirement of systems means the infrastructure need. They can identify, and the code will be happily deployed. In my terms, I usually say, if the understanding is right between different teams, right now in one team as a DevOps, if you understand what is the code, what is the performance dependency, if you are aware, you can identify right systems or right infrastructure for it, so that you can plan better. Response to defects. So as the code is open, the testing is also done in a better way, so the defects can also be seen by everyone and fixed faster than ever.